All right, let's dive into the world of Thai BL drama. Specifically, today we're going to be unpacking the internet's meltdown over actors Ohm and Nanon at this year's Starlympics.
Hmm. Yeah. It's wild how just a couple little interactions can totally blow up a fandom, huh?
Right, like we're not talking some dramatic confrontation here, just a penalty kick and helping someone up after they fell.
Yeah. But still, these moments sparked a ton of speculation, like crazy analysis, people debating what Ohm and Nanon's relationship is actually off screen, I mean. So it's not just like gossip. It actually gives us a peek into some pretty deep stuff about fandom culture and parasocial relationships.
Parasocial relationships. Can we maybe break that down a little? For anyone listening who's not totally
So for
familiar.
sure, it's basically the connection fans feel with people they see in media, like actors or YouTubers, that kind of thing. Obviously, it's one-sided. I mean, they don't actually know you, but it can feel super real for fans, and it can make people feel some strong emotions, especially now with social media and everything.
And when it comes to Omen and Nanan, those emotions are definitely running high. Remember how everyone was buzzing last year when they seemed to not interact at Starlympics?
Totally.
Oh,
Everyone thought they had some big falling out. So this year, when they not only interacted but did it in these kind of, I don't know, tense situations, it was like, whoa,
yeah.
you know, threw everyone for a loop.
Definitely tense. Speaking of, can we just talk about that penalty kick for a minute? Ohm's the kicker, Nanon's the goalie. Seems like a normal sports thing, but man, the fans went nuts.
It wasn't just fans either. Even other actors like Gemini were like, whoa, what's happening here? Like, super surprised and amused by the whole thing. And then there's that story about Santa Porn, the GMMTV president, right? Supposedly, he got distracted from some business deal because of that penalty kick.
It's like the whole GMMTV universe stopped to watch that moment. Why? Why such a big reaction to something so simple?
I think it has to do with the stories fans have created around Ohm and Nanon,
Mhm.
especially after they seemed distant last year. Some people on Reddit even thought that their manager, their old one that they shared, might have tried to cause problems between them on purpose.
Yeah, and now that Nanon is suing that manager, some fans see it as evidence or something. It's like they're trying to put together a puzzle, figure out the truth of what really happened.
Exactly. It shows how much people want to understand the actors, and also have other fans agree with their take on things. That gets amplified online, like on Reddit, where fans are dissecting every little thing and building these like elaborate theories.
Oh, for sure. One Redditor even joked about a 16-episode series analyzing that penalty pick. Okay, maybe they were kidding. But it shows how intensely invested some fans are.
Definitely.
Right.
And that intensity can be good and bad.
Mm-hmm.
On the one hand, it creates this awesome supportive community. On the other, it can make people obsessive, make them blur the lines between what's real and what's fiction.
Yeah. There are comments from people who call themselves On fans, and they were actually worried about these interactions, like worried it would encourage obsessive behavior. That's a good reminder that not all fans engage in healthy ways.
For real, it makes you wonder where the line is between just being a fan and being like unhealthily obsessed.
Mm.
And it makes you think about what fans and entertainers both need to
Yeah.
do to handle these relationships. They're getting more and more complicated, right?
It's a tough balance for sure. And it seems like even these little interactions between Ohm and the Non have brought up some really big issues. What do you think? Does all this mean fans have gone too far? Have they blurred the lines between what's real and what's fiction? Or is it all just harmless fun?
That's the question we're going to keep digging into. We'll see what fans are saying and talk more about what all this means.
Mhm.
But it's complicated. There aren't easy answers.
So, to everyone listening, what sticks out to you about all these reactions? What do you think is behind this fascination with Ohm and Nanon, and why is everyone analyzing everything so closely? Think about those questions as we keep going with this deep dive. Okay. We're going to uncover a lot more about this whole Nanon thing and what it tells us about Thai BL fandom.
It's like, when you're watching one of those social experiments, and it's all playing out right in front of you.
Totally. And in this case, it's like you have these two actors, right? And who knows what's really going on with them behind the scenes?
Mhm.
But then you add on this whole other layer of all these fans who are watching their every move, like analyzing every little thing.
And it makes you think, like, how much of what we're seeing, even in those, candid moments, like that penalty kick, how much of that is them just being themselves, and how much of it is them knowing everyone's watching them and, like, kind of playing it up a bit?
It's like, where does the real end and the performance begin? Like on screen, it's obvious it's acting, but even off screen, it's all kind of blurred together, isn't it?
It is. It's impossible to tell what's real and what's not. And I actually think that's why people are so fascinated. Like, it's this puzzle they want to solve.
And it's not just with Ohm and Nanon, right? This happens all the time in BL.
Yeah, all the time. The fans get so attached to these couples, these on-screen couples, that
Yeah.
they can't always tell what's real and what's just, part of the show.
It's almost like the more you ship a couple, the more invested you become in their like actual relationship off screen, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if there's any hint that they're not getting along or they're distant in real life,
Yep.
the fans freak out. It's like a disaster for them.
Yeah.
And then the opposite happens too. Like if they just have a small little interaction,
Right.
it can turn into this big thing.
Back and forth from total despair to like crazy excitement, all because of these parasocial connections with the actors.
And you can't forget how social media just throws gas on the fire.
Oh man, social media is like this giant echo chamber. Fans get together, they analyze every little detail, and it just gets more and more intense. Everything gets blown way out of proportion.
It's crazy, right? Social media gives fans all this content and all these ways to interact, which is cool. But it also makes it so easy for rumors to spread and for people to speculate like constantly.
And let's be real, sometimes it leads to harassment too.
Yeah, that's the dark side of things. We can't ignore it. There are people who stalk these actors, they bully them online, some even threaten them, all because the actors aren't doing what the fans want them to do.
It's a good reminder that actors are people too. They have their own lives, and we got to respect that.
Exactly. Respect their boundaries, no matter how much you love them or how much you're invested in their on-screen personas.
Okay, so where do we go from here? How do we, as fans, enjoy this kind of entertainment, but also, like, be responsible about it?
Man, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I think it starts with awareness. Like, we got to understand how all of this works, how companies and social media influence us as fans, even if we don't realize it.
Right, and we got to think critically about things. Don't just take everything at face value. Be open to, different perspectives and actually talk things through with each other instead of just reacting.
Yes, and empathy.
Yeah.
We can't forget that. These actors deserve our respect, just like anyone else. They should have boundaries, and they should be able to live their lives how they want, even if it makes some fans upset.
So thinking back to Ohm and Nanon and this whole Starlympics thing, maybe the real takeaway isn't about figuring out if they're actually friends or not, or if those interactions were real.
Maybe it's about realizing that their relationship, just like every other relationship, is complicated. We'll probably never know the whole story. And honestly, it's not our business. It's theirs to share or not share.
Right. We can't get so caught up in shipping them or trying to control their lives that we forget that they're actual people on their own journeys.
Exactly. At the end of the day, fandom should be about having fun, connecting with other fans, and, sharing our love for something. It shouldn't be about obsession or control or being disrespectful.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This whole Ohm and Nanon situation really highlights something else, too. It's not just about the fans and the actors, right? They're both also tied to this company, GMMTV. And that adds another layer of complexity to everything. It's kind of like they're in the background pulling strings. We've been talking about how fans react and the actors themselves, but GMMTV, the company, is a big part of this too, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these companies, they know how powerful fandom is. They know how to use it to get people talking, create hype, and, yeah, make money.
So it's not just like a happy accident when these things happen. They're playing a much deeper game.
Totally. It's strategic. They get how fan engagement works, how shipping works, how all this speculation actually makes people want to watch their shows more.
Which makes you think, are fans being used? Are we just pawns in their game?
I wouldn't say pawns exactly. It's more like a give and take, like a weird one. The companies, they make the shows, right? They give us the actors, the stories, all that stuff. And then fans, we get super into it. We make these communities, and that helps the companies because more people watch their shows.
Okay, so both sides benefit. Fans get entertained, companies get their money, but where does that leave the actors?
That's where things get kind of tricky. Like, on the one hand, actors get more popular because of passionate fans. It's good for their careers, right?
Yeah.
But then their privacy takes a hit. Their personal lives get all messed up. It can even, affect their mental health.
It's a tough situation, and with social media, it's just gotten so much more intense.
Social media has definitely made it worse. It makes fans feel closer to actors, almost like they deserve to know everything about them.
Yeah.
And it just feeds this whole cycle of content, gossip, and then crazy reactions.
It's hard to escape, even for the actors. Imagine constantly getting messages and comments, all these fans who think they know you and have a right to, comment on your life.
It's a lot. So it's important for fans to take a step back and think. Realize that actors aren't just characters they can control. They're real people with their own lives and their own right to make choices. Even if those choices, bum some fans out.
So how do we, like, as fans, be a part of all this without getting lost in it, without taking it too far?
Good question.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to a few things. One is awareness, understanding how companies and social media, like, try to influence us,
Yeah.
sometimes without us even realizing it.
And then thinking critically, not just like believing everything you read, being open to hearing different sides and talking about it calmly instead of just like freaking out.
And empathy. We got to remember that actors, like all of us, they deserve respect. We got to respect their boundaries and let them live their lives authentically, even if it's not exactly what we pictured.
So going back to Ohm and Nanon and all the Starlympic stuff, maybe the big lesson here isn't about figuring out if they were faking it or not, or what their real relationship is.
Maybe it's about realizing that their relationship, like all relationships, is complicated. We're not
Yeah.
going to know everything. And really, we shouldn't. It's up to them to decide what they want to share.
Yeah, we got to respect their journey and let them figure things out on their own without trying to like impose our own ideas on them.
Totally. Fandom should be about having fun, connecting with people, and sharing something you love.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about obsession or control or treating people badly.
I love that. That's a great way to put it. We've talked about a lot today, huh?
Yeah.
We dove deep into fan culture, parasocial relationships, all the stuff that's happening in the BL world right now.
And hopefully everyone listening has some new things to think about. As you keep watching your favorite shows and actors, remember to be mindful, be respectful, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Yeah. Have fun and don't take it all too seriously.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been a wild ride. Until next time, everyone.